Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible.
My dad is coming home.
I'm Daisy Dunn, classicist and author, and I'm here with History Extra to give my thoughts on the trailer to Christopher Nolan's forthcoming film, The Odyssey. Let's get into it.
Tell me what you remember.
A wife? A son.
And then what?
Wow, it's quite a powerful opening. So we seem to have Odysseus being washed up on the island of Ægina with Calypso. There seem to be bits of his raft or his ship scattered around the sea. Clearly, this has been the effect of Poseidon, the sea god with the mighty trident. He's ripped it all apart. It's really in a very sorry state. And I think already we get a sense of how emotionally detached or emotionally disturbed Odysseus is at this stage. He's describing a wife, a son. He's not said my wife or my son. He seems quite remote. I mean, he's been away for 20 years, so there's a sense of dislocation, certainly. Well, I think that is the site of the Trojan Horse. And it's actually configured not in a way I'm used to seeing the Trojan Horse. I think we often see the Trojan Horse on its four legs. Here we seem to have him rearing up, which is not a pose I've seen the horse in before. I think it's quite clever. Got the men coming almost vertically out of the horse by rope by night. This is Odysseus's contraption. It was his idea to build this horse, put men inside as a way of finally sacking the citadel of Troy. I like here we've got an image of Troy. We've got very, very hefty walls. We have battlements, crenellated battlements along the top, and sloping walls as well. And this is very accurate. If you visit the site of Troy, you can see remnants of these walls. You can see these mighty blocks, and you can well believe that they would have been built by Cyclops because they are so massive.
This is a household waiting for master.
We've got our first site here of Ithaca. And I'm guessing this is Antinous. This is the leader of the suitors. And we have a real motley group of the suitors here gathered together in what is Odysseus's palace. It is complete chaos. These men are really having a very good time. They look like they're feasting to celebrate some great occasion. This is probably just any other night of the week. And you can well believe there's probably about 108 suitors, which is what Homer says there are.
I want you to choose me.
That's incredible. Here we've got Penelope, and she is in a room. I'm actually, my eyes immediately drawn not to Penelope, but to the chair behind her. We have a throne-like seat, and I've seen a seat just like this, particularly in the Minoan palaces, which preceded the Mycenaean palace culture that inspired Homer. So very much in keeping with the historical setting, the real setting that inspired Homer.
Ithaca's king is coming back. No, he's not.
And Penelope is sitting at her loom. She's here, she's weaving. It seems quite true to the epic poem that you have her weaving. And then you have the suitors, or at least the lead suitor, coming in and actually documenting, seeing what she's doing. And probably he's becoming aware at this stage that she's been unpicking this tapestry that she's been sewing at night in order to put off marrying one of them. Wow. And suddenly we're in, this is moving so quickly, we're in the cave of the Cyclops, and he looks terrifying. He was seen, I mean, it's a split second of him here.
What would he do if he came back here and find all these suitors in his house?
I think there we've got Telemachus possibly speaking to Eumaeus, who is the swineherd, the trusty swineherd, who's going to help Odysseus when he finally gets home to band together with him and defeat the suitors. Eumaeus would have been one of the few allies for Telemachus during this time. Telemachus is there with these 108 suitors who he cannot control, so it's quite nice to see him with the ally at this point.
You're pining for a daddy. You didn't even know. Like some sniveling bastard.
Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. The friction, he's really bullying Telemachus. And this is technically true. I mean, he was very, very young. He was just a baby when Odysseus went away. And actually, in the poem, Homer says that he's beginning to doubt his paternity. I mean, Telemachus says, people say I am the son of Odysseus. I, for my part, I'm not quite sure. And that's a really shocking moment. So there's a sense that Telemachus is losing sort of his connection with Odysseus. So it's a really pertinent that Odysseus comes home ASAP and rectifies the situation.
Who's looking after your wife and son?
Do you see?
I think that there was a very, very quick glimpse at Tiresias, who is a blind prophet in the underworld, but I could be wrong. It's very, very difficult to tell from that flash of image. I think these are the Lystrigonians. I can't think who else these gigantic creatures could be. They don't look immediately how I would picture the Lystrigonians to look, if I'm honest. They are in very, very heavy silver armour. They're towering over the Greeks, Odysseus' men, which is probably accurate. But I think I envisage them as being a bit otherworldly, whereas these seem almost kind of space age.
I can still save them.
You're a man who needs to control his fate.
So Calypso seems to have given him a talisman of some kind here. I'm wondering if this is a little model of Athena, the goddess who is really his protector. Calypso identifies the fact that he's needing some kind of divine support at this point, which he definitely is. I mean, he is about to get onto a homemade raft and hope for the best, sailing across the sea. He definitely needs the support of the gods. And what we know from reading the poem is that the gods are prepared to give him that support, even though he has offended Poseidon. And on the sea, he is really most at risk.
No one could stand between me and home. Not even the gods.
Not even the gods. I mean, that to me, that is hubristic. Even a hero like Odysseus is meant to expect that the gods can do absolutely anything. They can stand in his way, and they are going to stand in his way. Poseidon is going to stand in his way.
Keep us straight!
Oh, that was a really interesting, again, flash moment. That was Scylla and Charybdis. We saw Charybdis in particular, this great whirlpool, which looks absolutely terrifying here on the left of the screen. And then Scylla would have been in the rocks to the right. So he's got to sail between the two. That's going to be interesting to see.
I think it's asleep.
I think it's asleep. Could be Odysseus. He falls asleep a lot in the poem. It's not. It must be the Cyclops. He wants to get him very, very drunk so that he can sneak out of his cave, having blinded him. Well, I'm intrigued by that. If you want to learn more about the Odyssey, I've written the Ladybird Expert Guide to Homer, and I've recorded a 4-part podcast series with HistoryExtra all about the Odyssey. We'll discuss what the story is about, what the archaeology can tell us about that world, and why it took Odysseus 10 whole years to get home. Download the HistoryExtra app to listen ad-free.